Today on Warrior Sessions.
I don't ever recall seeing any males around me cry.
And this is the illusion that I've had to overcome is that every time I feel like I'm going to lose myself, that I'm going to be someone else, it's actually the other way round. I'm pretending to be someone I'm not, and I'm getting closer to who I truly am.
Like I was handling a woman the other day that was going to go and carry out a plan of killing herself. So it's just me and her in a room for 3 hours. Now, where do I go with that? Do I run? Do I shut down? Do I switch on my skills and do what the paperwork tells you to do? Do I follow a concept of some? I didn't. I sat and listened to what I'm going to say it. My ancestors were telling me to do.
I'm going to start now. So, welcome to Warrior Sessions again, Michael. So we're still learning what this session is, and you and I have been talking offline about change and the fears of turning up and having this conversation with each other because it's really changing our lives already. We've only had like a couple of chats, and one of them have been on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk to you about I sent you a message this morning, right? I had a really profound evening last night where essentially my whole life has been it's hard to put into words. I've got £30 in my bank account. Um, we're running out of food. Can't pay the rent. I've made loads of videos asking for donations. Nobody's had any donations. We've been speaking to spirit, and I have a podcast, Michael, that you're not aware of called He Lives, and it's about me reliving my past lives through my ancestors as spirit animals, right? And I channel write them and then I record them through voice. And some of them are really profound for me. And they have an incredible change in embodiment through my ascension journey. So when I create it, it's a piece of art. I put it live and then I go away and I have a ceremony and I receive the magic of what I've done. And yesterday I published episode 22, which was the spirit of the fly. Right. And I had so many judgments on what is the fly. Like, surely this isn't going to be that powerful. I was so wrong, right? It knocked me for six. It turned my whole world upside down, right? Because the fly is a spy. And so I used that spy to spy on a dark coalition to understand why it is that Hazel and I can't receive money and why we're in so much shit. And it's a collective wound, and it made me so angry. So I was I blew my fucking top. Seriously, right? And it's linked to us turning up for this session. It's linked to men turning up, and it comes down to, and I'm going to open it a bit more, but it comes down to responsibility, right? Response, the ability to respond, right? And I was speaking to this about Hazel, right? Had these five women, six women come to our place for Hazel's chalice, right? And your partner was one of them. And they're doing so well, right? And it's incredible to see women make the sacrifices that are needed in order to take this journey of love, which not many people are doing. This really deep journey of awakening. And then I had this moment where I thought, oh, Hazel created a brotherhood, and she created that for me, right? And you and I are the only two out of those 10 men who have spoken. The whole WhatsApp group went dead, whereas their one is chit chat. Like, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, they're connecting with each other every day. This is how I'm ascending. This is the work I'm doing. Like behind the scenes, me and Hazel are going, freaking hell, Alexi's a total warrior, right? And then we're saying, God, Michael and Alexi, wow, they are doing the work, right? And this responsibility that came in for us last night turned everything upside down because it I have to say this really carefully, right? Because excuse me one moment. Sorry, Hazel was making some noise. I had to ask her to turn it down. So I had this profound realization last night, right? And I had a bit of a cry in the shower earlier because of this. Is I find this really hard to say, but it's such a big wound that I've healing. All our ancestors are dead, and it means that, I wasn't taught how to take responsibility. I wasn't taught how to be a man. I wasn't taught how to be a warrior. I wasn't taught, and I have these necklaces that I make, right? And I made my own shamanic necklace, and there's no one there to give it to me because they're all dead. Oh, my heritage has been destroyed, and nobody is paying attention. Nobody's nobody's even looking at it because they're not even aware of it. But like our initiations have been taken. That's why when you told me that your son turns 13 this year and you're taking him through the initiation of Idaho, I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
you're incredible.
Mm.
But like Hayes and I have had to go through hell because neither of us have been taught the lessons because of traumatic family wounds, been taught the lessons of how to take responsibility. And it's such a big wound because we did the work on the first line of consciousness, me. We did the second line of consciousness, me and her. But the connection to the third line of consciousness is so big that it's close. It's close to ending the whole world because people aren't taking responsibility. And there's a crunch point coming, a really big crunch point for the next, what, 6 weeks or something, where people are essentially being pushed by their souls into a corner. And the reason I'm bringing this up is on Tuesday when you told me that had you'd forgotten you had an appointment and you couldn't turn up for this session because your son had a sports day. I understood it and I accepted it, but I'm just going to say it right. There was a hidden energy behind it of losing your family, the fear of losing your family. And I've felt it before in so many men that I've worked with, and they've betrayed me. And I know that you weren't going to betray me, which is why I sent you that voice message saying essentially there's a fear of change. When a partner's woman starts to change, they think they're going to lose them. And you started to change. And so you start to feel that you're going to lose yourself, right? And this is the illusion that I've had to overcome is that every time I feel like I'm going to lose myself, that I'm going to be someone else, it's actually the other way around. I'm pretending to be someone I'm not, and I'm getting closer to who I truly am. And so when I sensed that energy in you, I was really I was pissed off, not at you, but at this collective patriarchal energy of running the opposite direction away from love. And I feel so lonely because I've been running towards love and I need a man to run with me. And this is what you're doing. This is what Warrior Sessions is. You're running with me. And so when I sent you that message, I was really scared that you were going to say, you know, I don't know, something negative, right? And reject what I was saying, but you didn't. You said thank you for saying that. Thank you. Yeah, how light. Yeah. So I gave Michael that heart as a thank you. It's Howlite. And if you look at the first video, it talks about how Michael took a journey in Rastafarianism and became a Howlite. And it's actually a wolf stone. And his spirit animal is the wolf. And this warrior session's about wolves. I also have a spirit animal of the wolf. And the wolf is about carving a new path. And this is what we're doing. We're carving a new way. So
I just
thank
want to say that,
you.
I just want to say that to be with you again is a real honor, and for you to share tears with me is such a inspiration. Like, I don't ever recall seeing any males around me cry. And to be able to be in a space, I know we'd prefer to be together. We are together. We're on this platform that actually I just have nothing but compassion and a real sense of real depth of honesty and commitment that I get it. I get what you're saying. I do get it. And I also hear you when you say you've got a lot on. So thank you for validating that. But I'm validating you by saying that I'm not fearful of being truth as well. Um, and it's inspiring because when you said to me, Michael, you can be big, that's still reverberating around in every cell in my body. That is something that it's that sort of thing that stays with you for a lifetime. Do you know what I mean? And it's reverberated back down. You talk about lineage, you talk about everybody's dead. I'm wondering, not in this session, but you knowing that, or knowing that you can't reach into that. I'm think I'm thinking when I'm doing my certain work, whether it's energy work, whether it's working someone's physical body or mind, like I can feel presence. I can feel if I'm if I'm really in that centered place, I can really feel guidance in the moment. Like I was handling a woman the other day that was gonna go and carry out a plan of killing herself. So there's just me and her in a room for 3 hours. Now, where do I go with that? Do I run? Do I shut down? Do I switch on my skills and do what the paperwork tells you to do? Do I follow a concept of some? I didn't. I sat and listened to what I'm going to say it. My ancestors were telling me to do. And her ancestors were there as well. So we joined in a moment that I just handed it over. I just didn't have, I had the love, I had the presence, but I didn't have anything to offer. And I just sat and I just was patient. And what was coming up was profound for me. And it wasn't like I'm going to say what she wants to hear. In fact, it was doing what you said. It was like I was running alongside her to her death and saying, well, what's stopping you? Why are you even talking about it? Why haven't you done it?
Right on.
Now, where the fuck does that come from? I can't explain that away. But when you touch on my ancestors dead and you're bearing your spirit to me and I see you and I'm really like, if I was with you, man, you'd be getting a physical touch in an appropriate way, obviously.
A hug.
A head, well, head on head was actually coming to mind. A head
Yeah,
touching
yeah.
heads. That's it felt like I would have come and just put my head on you. I don't know if it's a wolf thing, but I would have just put my head on you.
Yeah, that's cats do that and wolves. Yeah.
So that's what was coming up for me. I want to be with Alistair, but I was doing it from here. I was just putting my head and I was doing this, and I was just like, so
Right.
what I'm trying to say is I'm not going to abandon you, Alistair.
Yeah.
All right, my love, I'm not going to do that. And I'm not. I'm going to find it difficult to make the time. I'm not. I'm going to put it out there, but we're going to do this. We'll get there. We'll sort it. It will. Do you know what? I'm getting massage today. I'm actually receiving today for the first
Good.
time in quite a while. I'm getting some work on my
Good.
body.
Good.
And in that, I'm going to dedicate it, and I'm going to ask the ancestors to help us, to help me to make space in in this moment, in this journey, in this warriorhood, to allow me to be there, because I want to be able to send you some good light energy to help you guys continue. So you've got to give me the space to also do that. You've got to find me the balance in your heart, and me the balance in your needing our commitment. We've got to be really considerate of what we're both going through here, because I know you do. I know you do. I know you do.
I have so many dreams that I want to make come true, and I find it really difficult.
I know. You're a very talented man, Alistair. You're extremely deep in a wonderful, wonderful way. And it doesn't scare me, my friend, because we know that where I'm entering, I'm going into the world to feed back into our sessions of what the hell is going on from the collective's perspective, the darker energies, if you like. What is going on there? So that we
It's
at least
yeah.
know what we're dealing with.
I tell you what happens, right? Every time a woman contacts me, they're blown away by how easily and how quickly I get them from A to Z, right?
Yes.
But when a man contacts me,
Yes.
I just have to say hello and boom, they're gone like a roadrunner.
Yeah.
And I never hear from them.
No. No.
And it's because I'm such a pure mirror that when they look at me, when they hear from me, when they feel me, they're like, oh shit. Because I'm mirroring what is possible for them, and they know that in order to get to that level, they have to face an enormous amount of responsibility and love.
Yes. Yes.
But by running in the opposite direction, they're making it worse for themselves.
I hear you. We cannot ever come with any agenda but our intention of the work that you have gone forward and done, to return back and say, I've got a way. I know this way. This is this isn't going to be easy. I hear you when the feminine steps up there. We know that they are equally as damaged, but more open and can see goodness when they see it. Men can't trust anything because of, like you say, the damage that's being done by us to the feminine and to our own selves.
Yeah,
I get the same thing, mate. I get inquiries from males for counselling. As soon as they look at me, have that initial, they're gone. I get the same thing. And all I can do is send compassion. All I can send them on their way to, hopefully they can find the level that they need that's comfortable. They will find you again, but you are probably too ahead within their own spiritualization. Too is too much of a big step for them. So they'll go, and you've got to send that loving kindness back with them to find the right teacher, the right shaman, the right guru, the right
Yeah,
inner
okay.
work therapist, whatever.
Okay, but this is why you're here, right? Because you have this connection, right? You sit with these people who dwell in the self-pity. I have done as well, right? And you're talking about compassion, and we spoke about writing, right? I'm going to finish that book
Good,
on mental health, and I'm going to share it with you.
good.
And that is a grounded way to connect with these people because I wrote that just before I started my spiritual journey.
Wow, perfect. So yeah, that's good. So you were in that reality of a sense, that realm, if you like.
Yeah,
Right.
whereas the other books I'm writing right now are like
Yeah.
you could read the first chapter and you would probably have a walk in. It's that powerful. Like I was writing it the other day and Metatron came in while I was writing and I said, "What's the name of my book?" And he said, "The Book of Love." Because I asked several months ago, it might have been this year or last year. I said to Spirit, I said, because I heard that song, I wonder, 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 wonder who wrote the book of love? You know that song, right? So I said, who wrote the book of love? And they said, angels. And I know that I'm an angel. I've seen my higher self. I've seen who I am at that level, and I am an angel. And you are too. And Hazel was channeling, doing some voice channeling, and we spoke about Archangel Michael and how I'm working with you called Michael, right? That's why I messaged you this morning saying, "Good morning, Archangel Michael," right? And what I tapped into last night, which is really profound,
Yeah.
and I know what you're saying that I'm really far ahead on my spiritual journey, but it, in a way, it's an anchor to this is what's possible, and I can connect it with you, Michael, and we can connect that to all the people who are suffering in the world right now. I want to talk about anger. And I never thought I'd be having this conversation because I didn't really think anger was that important. But this morning I was going for a run with Hazel, and we did a photo shoot at the same time anyway, it's a long story, but I had this profound realization about Aries because we're in an Aries moon, right? And
That's right.
every
Yeah.
time Hazel and I are in Aries moon, we've suffered and we've never understood how to overcome it. But
Wow.
Last night we did.
Okay.
I went absolutely, I lost it. I exploded like a volcano, right? Because when this conversation I was just having with you earlier about the fear I sensed in you of losing your family, it comes from this Aries energy of stubbornness on I don't want to evolve. I don't want change. And
Wow.
any Aries I've ever met, my ex and friends, you talk about being big, right? Do you know how I learned that lesson? I became friends with a guy who was an Aries, and he said to me in a mushroom ceremony, by the way, which is profoundly, devastatingly negative on what happened, right? Because this guy didn't know how to hold himself in ceremony. He said to me, while I was being really joyful and being myself, he said to me, it's okay to be small, right? And so what I did was I made myself from this big lion into a mouse. And I went over to him and I knelt and he held me. And I thought, wow, I've got a brother. No, he stabbed me in the back 3 times, just like Judas. He denied me 3 times, just like Judas. He denied my love with Hazel 3 times, just like Judas. And it took me 2 or 3 years, maybe 4, to tell myself it's okay to be big. And so, even though it took me all that time to learn that, I thought I'm giving that to Michael
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah. It's gorgeous. It's really strong. Very, very strong. I really hear that about the moon in Aries at the moment, and just you touching on that stubbornness and not willing to change. That's so true about me, man.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'm really good at it on a micro level,
What's your
but on
sun
this
sign?
but on this bigger level. So, like you touched on Lexi and Hazel and their group, like the work that's going on at a deep level. Like Lex just is able to. I wouldn't say that she's got a few more man hours or woman hours than me. She does. She does have a few more than me, but she really goes there. Like everything else has just got like, do you know what I mean? The house, everything. Yes, she still involves herself with the kids, but she's really devoted to what she's doing.
Yeah.
Where I would be like, I can give a little bit of time here and a little bit of time there, and oh well, I can't do it now because and it's like you're right that, and I'm thinking, is it stubbornness? And actually, my stomach just went into a real tight knot as you said it, like a really like it's like I went like I was like, I don't like him saying that. I don't like it because I'm a ram, I'm an Aries, so I'm like, I don't, I don't like that.
You're an Aries.
Yeah,
Sun.
yeah,
But you're rising Pisces, right?
correct.
That explains a lot. Yeah. Okay. Wow. That's
I'm at
fascinating.
both ends.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's why you hold that space in the Brotherhood. Wow. So you've got this stubbornness of not wanting to evolve into this complete evolution of Pisces.
Yeah, but I'm swimming, aren't I? I am moving through because of you. But very, no, it's not reluctantly. It's like I know this is a good thing, right? But there's a definite, should we just swim back this way upstream a bit?
That's what Hazel does. That's a Pisces trait. But the thing is with Pisces, it's two fish joined by the same cord. You know that, right?
No, not really. You're more clued in. No,
Yeah.
I don't profess to be any expert on anything. So
No, I'm not an expert on astrology, but the little I do know is really profound. Pisces is two fish that, the Vesica Pisces. It's essentially twin flame energy. It's essentially divine union within yourself, right? But also the ability to find that with your partner as well, right?
yeah,
And the thing is with Aries, right? I want to move on to anger and demonization because I realized this morning, I said to Hazel last night, if there's a fucking ram in front of me trying to push me off the cliff, yes, I love it, great, but I'm going to pick it up by the horns and I'm going to throw it off the cliff because I'm not dying, right? This is how the energy we've had to deal with, right? I really had to put my foot down last night to overcome this Aries energy. And there's a huge portal that happens every 9 years on the ninth this year, because we're in 2025, that equals nine. It's a 999, and it's in an Aries moon in Virgo, which is really tough, man, because Virgo is about purification. It's very difficult. You've got two of the most stubborn star signs working that energy, right? And so we're working up to that anger. And I was going for a run, and I was like, okay, what's after today? We go from Aries to Taurus, right? And okay, so what's the Taurus, right? And I have a bull in one of my chakra systems, spirit animals, right? And I haven't shared this because it's really advanced, right? But what I realize is that there are certain animals which represent the masculine that represent this really deep, dark anger energy that have been demonized. The bull is called El Diablo. It loses its shit when it's bullied or exploited. The stag, right, which is the representation of Pan, again, demonized. He That's called the Wendigo, right? The Wendigo. And they call that a demon. It's not. It has been turned into a demon, but I purified it, right? And that's taken me so much you would not believe, right? But when a stag, so when a man who holds the energy of stag, when he feels stagnation, he will start to express anger. I can then talk about the I just want to talk about in general. I'm not going to go through all the animals, but there's the goat as well. That was demonized, and that's Dionysus. When you abuse medicine, you lose your shit, right? You turn into addiction, go into addictions. There's the dragon that was turned into the devil. The dragon has an enormous amount of berserker energy, right? Berserker, yeah, which means you know what that means. That means going berserk, right? And it goes berserk when it can't feel itself. Does that sound like anyone you know? It sounds to me like the entire population, right? Because everyone is a dragon, yeah. And what I realized is that because anger and these dark energies have been demonized, people aren't expressing their healthy anger. And I had to express my anger in Aries. I literally had to say, fuck you, Aries. Right, I apologized later, but I had to express that. Fuck you, Aries. I'm going to live. You're not taking me down, right? And Hazel had to sit opposite me and not get upset, not attach, and just allow everything to run through her because she had to accept that my anger has a place here, a healthy place, because it moves mountains, it gets stuff done,
Great.
right? And this level of anger that men aren't able to express because it either comes out violently or aggressively or it's judged to be that way, it goes inside. It creates eczema, skin conditions. It creates violence because men are taught to suppress their anger and their emotions. And yeah, I just cried on here, but to me, crying. If I don't cry, my days. I'm going to have a terrible day. For
True.
me, it's natural because it opens my heart. I'm freeing myself. But
Yeah,
you're
agreed.
right. My dad never. I don't think I ever saw my dad cry. And the only
No,
time I ever saw my brother cry was when I kicked him repeatedly in the shins when I was about 6 years old, right? And it's awful that men have to repress their emotions and their feelings on such a level that they would rather kill themselves.
agreed. I mean, it's so displaced anyway. I mean, I've seen men cry at their football team winning or losing when, for me, I'm not into football because it's it's just a lot of violence in it, in my opinion. So, um, there is a good side to it.
Yeah.
There's a keeping fit element, but it's there's no respect in football. There's no respect. But you see grown men crying over that, and you just think you're crying at the wrong thing.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Why can't that be towards your young son that you're teaching violence to, or how to be toxic, or to use alcohol to the point where it's the only thing you live for, or they can't cry at owning up to the fact that they're not available emotionally. You know what I mean?
Responsibility. Yeah.
Responsibility.
But
Yeah.
I want to I could say yeah, men aren't doing the work. I could say that men aren't turning up, and that would be true. But also I would like to defend them because when I did this Dark Coalition fly channeling, I realized that our responsibility was stolen by blocking the third eye, and the third eye turns a blind eye, essentially creating ignorance. And so we look the other way,
Mm.
and so responsibility can't be taken. So
Mm.
I last night I had to reclaim my responsibility by throwing that fucking ram off the cliff.
It's just such a integral part, isn't it? The chakra system, that third eye. We're also talking about empathy in there as well. Yeah, we're talking about insight and things, but we're talking about empathy as well. Like, men will go so far in sort of showing some empathy, but you're talking about a different depth of responsible empathy.
Yeah, I think those words are quite dangerous, pity and empathy. And then it leads to compassion because I always say this, I had to learn this myself. I was in pity for so long, so destructive. And then I went into empathy. And what's empathy? To me, empathy is feeling other people's emotions, right? Empathizing. And that's not healthy either. And that leads to the third one, which is compassion, which is taking action. Again, responsibility, but taking action with self-care, with care. Like it's maybe not a great example, but Mother Teresa, right? She was the only person that when she walked past all these people suffering, that she took water to them. That's compassion.
Yeah.
Everyone else went, "Oh, poor you. Oh, oof." You know. I remember I was in Edinburgh once. I bought my favorite drink from whatever it is, Costa Coffee or something, and I saw this guy in the middle of winter sat on the concrete, and I just bought it, and I thought he should have this, and I gave it to him, and my girlfriend said, "What did you do that for?" At the time, and I was like, "Oh my God, we're not going to last long." People
But
have
they all,
forgotten compassion.
yeah, but they all intertwine and they go through different, like you say, you've got to go through them all to move through to get back to what
Agreed.
is.
Agreed. Yeah, I
You've
totally agree
got
with
to.
you.
There's no, yeah, but I hear you. But yeah,
Do you remember when you told me I came to where you are now? I came to your house and you cut my hair, and I asked you how you're feeling, and you said I'm fucking angry, and I said, "Why are you angry?" You go, because the someone chopped the tree down. Do you remember that? That tree that fell, that giant tree. And you said you
yes,
just lost your shit, and people asked you how
yes,
you were, and you just lost it. This is what I'm talking about. That's okay to do that. It should be encouraged.
I do remember that. Yeah, I
You went
do.
ballistic. You went
Yeah,
berserk.
yeah, and it really it knocked my wind out my sails. That did.
Yeah, you're a sensitive man. You should be honored for that. If you're losing your shit because the tree's fallen down, I would have come over and go, mate, wow, you're amazing that you can feel that. Let's sit down and let's talk to the tree. Let's figure this out. Let's grieve this.
That's it.
Right?
That's it. That's it.
Because this, you talk about the pinnacle, right? In when I interviewed you, this is the pinnacle of love. Taking responsibility and being allowed, feeling safe enough to express our masculine emotions.
Yeah,
These are masculine emotions.
yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Love it. 100%. And it is what's coming up again is there's no sort of stopping of that energy in my body at all. There's no resistance now. It's just if anything, I feel like a heaviness in my arms, and I think that's the responsibility of it. I think there's a heaviness to it that people just can't cope with. I think there's an energy of, well, aren't I responsible for enough? I've got kids, I've got a mortgage, I've got a house,
Right, right.
I need my 3 holidays, I've got my massage, I've got my gym membership, I've got my insurance to pay, I've got a dog to walk. What are you asking me here, Alistair? What are you talking about? What else do you want from me? I give enough, don't I? Don't I
Yeah,
give enough? Look, I'm a stand-up guy. I don't we're not asking for that. You're talking about stepping in. We're talking about joining in a union of a spirit of warriorhood that doesn't have to be a tough journey. It could be a very gentle journey. It doesn't have to. These are just
yeah, yeah.
words we put on things.
If we do it together,
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, out the brotherhood. At the moment, there's two, but there's two. There's two. It's good. There's two. It will grow.
but we need 10, Michael. We
It
need
will grow.
10.
It will
Yeah,
grow.
I know. I know. But I
It will
think,
grow.
yeah, what you
It will
said,
grow.
what you're touching on is brilliant, right? Because this is what I meant when I said all of our ancestors are dead, is I'm taking responsibility for myself. I'm taking responsibility for Hazel, right? And working on the third line of responsibility, what I realized when I I wanted to I wanted to ceremonially I wanted somebody to give my necklace to me, and I cried because I don't have an
Yeah.
ancestor to do that for me, right?
Yeah.
And so you saying, well, I'm taking enough responsibility, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, right? And I thought, this is exactly what I felt, and it's injustice. It's injustice that prevents us from taking responsibility, and it's injustice that creates that anger that opens the door. You feeling heavy is the suppression of your anger.
100%. It's got to go somewhere, like you said.
Yeah, and and I can see inside you like a fucking berserker, you know? I can. I bet everyone can. Yeah. And you need to be allowed to go berserk. And it's okay to be witnessed.
Love it. Love it.
Nobody wants to get angry on their own, do they? In their room on their own. Nobody wants to express anger. Everybody needs to be witnessed. This is why sat opposite Hazel, right? She witnesses me losing my shit. And I witness her. And it's challenging
God, yeah.
because we have to say, "Hey, Hazel, I'm going to say some things which you're going to find really difficult. I need you to not attach, right?" And she's got to go, and then she does the same to me, and I'm like, "Oh, this is really hard." Oh,
Yeah. Really is.
but that's taking responsibility, and the injustice of it is that we shouldn't have to,
Yeah. It's true.
because if we didn't do it, we're not to blame. They did it. The Dark Coalition, right? And everybody's part of the Dark Coalition because they're not taking responsibility. I've spoken about this, right? So yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Well, I want to definitely have more time on this, and I feel really, really, it feels really, really wrong. I've got to check out now of this space,
No, it's not
go
wrong.
and hold space for somebody else that's booked quite a late appointment. But I hear you on all the points that you've mentioned, and I think, you deserve honoring, my friend, and I'm going to be that guy that steps up, and I'm going to run alongside you, and we're gonna do the work, and we're gonna Michael's gonna sit with this now and figure out when there's the dead and stick to that, because I appreciate the levels you're working at, I appreciate the levels you're channeling at, and I'm really grateful that you brought that into the space, and I think other men need to see that we don't have to fall out, we don't have to do that with each other, we
Yeah,
can hear each other's failings, or
yeah,
what lack of commitment and responsibility. We can, mate, we can do this, and
yeah,
not just you and I'm talking about. But if I what I wanted to finish with from my perspective is, if I was there now, I'd love to receive your beads, or if I or you know but it's really funny because with my boy, that's what was one of the gifts. There was certain gifts throughout each initiation, but one of them was some mala beads that I'd had for a very long time, that I handed to him. Had a lot of man hours gone in with the meditations on them and all the different, mantras that are in there. And, you know, so I know what you're feeling, because that was really emotional for me when I handed that to him. And I handed him also a shirt that I'd been in a lot of ceremonies with. It's a very special, it's when I really was um entering
yeah,
the life of what is it to do a spiritual life. I was putting my little toe in, and I bought myself this amazing shirt handmade by a guy from Morocco, and I handed that to Moses. I handed that to my boy, and he said, "Well, I don't even like it." And I said, "I appreciate that, but just just hold on to it and pass that down." Pass that through the lineage and keep it alive. What we're doing now, keep this alive. Keep these initiations
yeah.
alive.
That's
Keep it
deep.
going, son. Keep it going, please. And he said, "I promise. That's one thing I'll do, Dad."
Yeah, that's deep.
So, so I hear you when you say, I weeped, mate. because I didn't have anybody to hand that to me or hand it to. And you're absolutely right. We've got this baton we've got this responsibility to hand back, to hand up, to hand sideways, like you said, all these directions. So I really feel this is a subject that we could talk so much more on. And like you say, every time we talk, we have such a beautiful connection. It's really beautiful. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. And I want to finish because I know you have to go. I want to finish by saying that um it's I want it to be okay for you to be angry with me if I ever upset you. I want
I
that to
love
be
that.
okay. Yeah.
Love that. Thank
and
you.
and vice versa, right? And I want you to know that you're never ever a burden to me. If between sessions you're having a really shit day, like I picked up on your voice on one of your messages and I could tell your energy had gone down. If you're
Yeah.
ever having a shit time, you can send me voice notes. Like Katie, she sends me and Hazel voice notes all the time when she's having a breakdown, and we love that because
Thank you.
I would love that because you're showing
Thank
your
you.
vulnerability and friendship, and I will send you an uplifting message. So if you
Yeah.
need my help, I am here for you.
That's beautiful. I'm
And
so
that goes
grateful for
for
that.
anyone listening as well. I'm here.
Do you know what? You bang on. The energy was dropped. I'd had to hold space for some quite dark work. And I was just like, so, and in the back of my eyes, like, I'm so glad I got Alistair to hold me now. Like, because this is a
Yeah.
lot that this is a lot that we're going through. Let me tell you, this is a lot. This
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. 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 I'm here for you, man.
All right,
Thank you for
brother.
turning up today. Yeah. Thank you.
No, like it's a real honor. And I really heard when you said, look, if you're angry about something about me, this is what we need to, we're walking ourselves home. We're walking ourselves back to what is essentially such a such a beautiful light of
Mate, I've been
oneness.
howling.
It's just
Yeah.
oneness, isn't it? It's just this. It's just it's obvious. It's obvious this work has to be done. It's as simple as that. It's not something you've particularly. This isn't easy, and so why would we hell would we want to do this? Well, we're doing it because we know that this is what you've talked about, divine purpose. This is just something that we have been very lucky to find once again in this lifetime that we've done many lifetimes before. So
Yeah, when I'm looking at you on the screen, right, I don't look at the camera because you're there, right? But I want to say this to your eyes to eyes, right? Is that I've been howling. I've been howling for you. I've been howling for our men. I've been howling for the tribe, and you answered, so thank you.
oh mate, yeah, beautiful. I'm here. I will be here. I'm running alongside you, my dear friend, and try and have a gentle morning and we'll see each other soon, okay?
Yeah, have a good day, mate.
You too.
Bye bye.
Lots of love. Lots of love. Bye,
You
mate.
too. Bye bye.
Bye, mate. Bye, mate.